Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, up here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and we're trying to figure out how to turn something like this into this. Truth be told, you cannot. This is a Remington 700, kind of antiquated design, and this is a fix with all kinds of engineering built into it in the 21st century. But we have the second best thing, which is the side check. Here I am at Q with
Mitch. I'm the designer of the side check and an engineer here at Q.
And he's going to run you through it because, again, we're trying to figure out how we can take a pretty regular vanilla Remington 700. This one happens to be in a chassis, but whether it's in a chassis or even just a wood stock sitting somewhere tucked away in the back of your safe, maybe in your closet, how to basically revitalize it. We obviously can't turn it into a fix, short bolt throw, all kinds of other engineering magic built into it, incredibly light package, but there is a way we can actually lend more functionality to something relatively old in design, like the Remington 700 with the side check.
So with the side check, we try to incorporate as much of the external features that make the fix great, given that we can't change the actual action of the gun since it is a Remington. We've added the folding stock to the side check, as well as a full-length handguard, full-length top rails. You can see it, we don't have the full length shown here. And then of course, what everybody wants with their internal box magazine 700 is a detachable magazine.
Right here, Mitch has gone ahead and laid out all the parts needed to actually assemble the side check. Already pulled the action, barreled action out of that other chassis. So right now he's going to walk me through getting everything built, and we will drop that into a side check.
Similar to the fix, the side check uses 2 screws to attach the handguard. So there's a draw screw, which is going to draw the handguard rearward, and a pinch screw, which is going to pinch on this boss on the front. For the draw screw to actually suck the handguard tight, we have to install one of our Q certs using this press that we designed and made in-house specifically for the side check. So you'll go ahead and insert a Q cert onto the front, give it a little bit of lube. You're going to set the Q cert into the hole and then drive it home. We've incorporated several of the design features directly from the fix, including adjustable length of pull, adjustable cheek piece, QD insert, and overall the size and shape of the stock. We did change the cutout to accommodate the Remington 700 bolts.
And for this, I'm going to just go ahead and seat this in here, correct?
Yep.
And until I throw it on, we're not going to know exactly what length of pull. So typically just leave it here for starting.
Yeah, that looks about right.
All right. What torque do I need, torque value for these?
So for both of these screws, it's 15 inch-pounds.
That's what this guy is?
Yes, sir.
All right. Same thing here?
Yep.
And at this point, we're going to attach this to the hinge, is that correct?
Correct, yep. We'll do our hinge sub-assembly, get it together, and attach it to the stock.
Okay.
To assemble the hinge, you're going to start with the 2 hinge halves at 180 degrees from each other. Then you're going to insert the spring and the pin through the top of the hinge.
Going through here?
Yep. Once your pin is started, you can drop it into the vise and use the vise to push the pin all the way to the rearward stop, or the bottom stop.
All right, and so this hole's exposed right there.
Correct, so you're going to drive your spring pin through the hole. So I've got a starter punch over there that you can insert on top of the pin. Other way, there you go. And go ahead and tap it to start it. Then if you want to use your finisher punch to drive it all the way just below the surface of the exterior of the hinge.
This is such hard work.
At least you have beautiful hands.
Oh, thank you. You said just below the surface?
Yep. Perfect.
And now this is captured, right?
Yep.
Very cool.
Looks good. We're going to go ahead and attach the hinge to the pre-assembled stock frame.
This guy right here.
Yep.
All right. And you said I need a little bit of Loctite on here?
A little red Loctite on that, and then 49 inch-pounds into the stock frame.
All 49 of them.
Crushed it.
And right now we're going to be done with the stock assembly for a minute while we kind of focus on the rest. Is that correct?
Yep, so we're going to go ahead and assemble our mag catch next. And so we'll leave this set aside, just it's a little bit easier without the stock dangling off the back. And then we'll move forward and attach the stock to the chassis after that.
All right.
To install the mag catch, you're going to first start by dabbing a little bit of grease on the end of your spring to hold it in place.
All right.
Then you can go ahead and insert that into the spring pocket on the inside of the mag well. And then align the pocket and the mag catch and depress the spring. And then I've got a slave pin here that you can use to hold the mag catch in place once you get the holes aligned. You're strong as an ox.
Almost. All right.
Okay?
Got that there.
So next we've got another starter punch. So if you want to drop your coil pin into the starter punch, and go ahead and start tapping it in and press the slave pin through. Now if you want to use your finisher punch to drive the pin just flush with the outside of the catch.
Flush with the receiver?
Yep, with the outside of the catch pocket.
Okay. So close.
Just tap it. Nice.
All right. Sweet.
Next, you're going to attach the stock to the back of the side check using the 1/4 28 screw.
This guy?
Yep.
All right. You said a little bit of Loctite on
Yep.
this?
Drop a red Loctite. Then you're going to insert that through the hinge and thread it through the back of the boss and into the threaded insert. We actually use 3 of these threaded inserts. They're the same inserts that we use to attach the fixed stock. And again, you're going to torque that to 49 inch-pounds.
All right.
You'll see that the flats on the threaded insert will stop against the bottom of the pocket in the chassis and prevent it from over-rotating.
Boom, all 49 of them.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, so next, before we put on the grip extension and the grip, we're going to have to insert the action into the chassis and use the action screws to torque it down.
All right, cool.
Now we're going to drop your Remington 700 action into the side check. So you place the trigger group into the trigger pocket and go ahead and align the holes in the side check with the threads in the receiver.
All right.
And then using your 2 action screws, you're going to go ahead and start the threads. So before you snug up the screws, what we want to check is to make sure that our recoil lug is sitting against the back of the pocket. That ensures that as the gun recoils, it's not going to move anymore.
All right, I think I tightened that a tiny bit too tight.
You can
And
feel
so we want,
the recoil lug against the back of the chassis. So you're going to bias the chassis forward
all
in
right,
this orientation.
gotcha. And now that it's forward,
Now you can go ahead and start by snugging up the first screw. Just hand tight, and then snug up the rear screw. Now you're going to go ahead and torque the front screw first to 65 inch-pounds, and then the rear screw.
all right.
Okay, now onto the grip. For the grip subassembly, we're going to start by attaching the grip to the grip extension.
All right.
So you'll use this longer quarter 28 and the threaded insert to attach the grip up into the blue grip extension.
And this is Magpul K grip, right? Regular AR grip.
Yep, same thing we're using on the fix.
If someone wanted to, they could change this out?
Correct, yeah. We designed the grip extension to work with what we're shipping. It fits the best with the K grip. But yeah, you absolutely can change it to your liking. And then you'll torque that to 49 inch-pounds.
Or will I? I mean, eventually I will, but
Find the hole, Ivan.
all right. All 49.
Okay, so now you'll insert the grip extension onto the rails located just behind the trigger guard. Once you get those started on the rails, you can use a non-marring hammer and tap on top of the grip to drive it all the way in place. Perfect. Now if you come from the top of the side check, there's another screw to ensure that the grip stays sucked up tight
And
against.
that's this guy right
Yep.
here. All right. Do we Loctite this one, or does it matter?
You can use a drop of blue Loctite to prevent it from ever rattling loose.
All right.
You got to pull the top off. There you go.
You got to pull the top off. All right. This is also,
49 inch-pounds.
but this is a different.
Oh yeah, that's a T25 versus the grip screw is a
And these
T30.
ship with all 3 bits, right?
Correct. We send all the side checks with the 3 necessary drivers to install your top rail, your grip, and your action screws.
All right. Good to go. At this point, you said we're going to go ahead and remove the base that's on here.
Correct. Yeah, we're going to remove that so we can replace it with our Q base.
And your top rail, you mentioned, is actually a little bit taller than the rail that's on here right now?
Correct. Yeah, we have a taller top rail because the top of the handguard is what's going to dictate where the top rail needs to live in relation to the receiver.
That's because it ties in, right?
Right,
like
right.
just
They
to
tie
be
together.
rigid.
It acts as a rib, if you will. It bridges between the receiver and the handguard and gives you a lot of rigidity in your handguard.
For some reason, there is a really long screw in here. Actually, apparently 2 of them. All right. So that guy's off there.
Yep.
And next up?
So next we're going to go ahead and install the handguard first.
All right.
And like we talked about in the beginning, there's a drive screw that's going to suck the handguard against the side check. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to finger tighten the drive screw,
Okay.
and then you're going to install the pinch screw and finger tighten the pinch screw to help rotationally align the handguard.
Use this guy just a little bit.
Yeah,
And this is going into that Q cert that you had used earlier, right?
correct. Yeah, the Q cert we installed in the bottom of the recoil lug pocket.
The one with the fixture?
Correct.
All right. All right.
Okay, so now that you got that finger tight, we can go ahead and place the top rail on the action.
Okay.
So the same principle that we used with the making sure the recoil lug was against the chassis, there's a recoil lug located on the bottom of the top rail. And in this case, we're going to bias the top rail forward against the receiver.
Okay.
We ship the side check with both 648 and 840 screws. Some Remington 700s are threaded with 648 and some are threaded in 840.
These are the smaller of the 2, right?
Correct. Your particular action has the 648s. We ordered custom screws with a larger head diameter on the 648s to make sure that you get as much bearing surface as you can so that the smaller screws don't pull through the larger holes in the rail.
And before I start to snug these down,
So you're going to want to make sure that the recoil lug on the bottom of the rail
okay,
is biased forward against the action.
direction, all right.
So as you're snugging these up, you're going to want to make sure that you snug the screw closest to the recoil lug first, and then go ahead and snug the rest of the screws, and then go back and torque the screw closest to the recoil lug, followed by the rest of the screws.
Which is that one?
Correct.
Okay. All right, and now we're torquing this to 15 inch-pounds?
Correct.
All right.
Okay. Now that we got the action, the screws into the action torqued, we can go ahead and install the screws into the handguard.
Do these get blue Loctite also?
Yeah.
And we'd kept this loose specifically for this, right?
Correct. So the idea with keeping the handguard loose is that the top rail is going to find its center on the action first, and then you're going to drive the handguard into rotational alignment with torquing these screws.
And these are getting torqued 249?
Correct. 49
Does it matter
inch-pounds.
which first?
Nope, doesn't matter with these.
All right.
Okay. And then finally, we'll go ahead and torque the drive screw first.
This one?
Yep.
All right.
Followed by the pinch screw last.
All right, these are torqued now. With that, I just finished tightening this thing down and we are done. We now have this Remington 700 into this side chick chassis. Right here for reference, we have this gun. We go ahead and drop it on the scale. Slick without an optic, but with a magazine, we're looking at 9.6 pounds. Having finished out, getting this Remington 700 into the side check, remeasuring it, we're looking at 8.48 pounds. Right here, looking at this chassis slick, we're looking at 3.51 pounds. Contrasting that now with our side check chassis, looking at 2.56 pounds. Bringing this Remington 700 over from this chassis right here, we managed to shave a pound and get ourselves a folding stock.
As well as gain a full-length handguard. The one Ivan's got in his hands has our Q attachment method. The current side chick is shipping with M-lock attachment rails.
The other thing, while granted we were coming over from a chassis that actually took AI pattern magazines, but if you have a Remington 700 in a closet, in an old wood stock with an internal magazine, coming over to the side chick, you get this goodness. It's pretty rad. Ultimately, all we have left to do is go put some rounds through this and have some fun at the range. And
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for coming in.
Definitely, man. It's a good time. And as always, thanks for joining us at KipBadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.